everybody. How are you this evening? How are you? Well, we've already got one new member before we even start. Welcome. Thank you. If you've not been here before, welcome to our channel. This is Hillbilly Crime. My name is Elizabeth, and I am your friendly hillbilly host. We do not have Mommy with us tonight. She's had another class, but she will be here with us tomorrow when we talk about how everybody's been talking about dredging the creeks and all the flooding that's been happening or that has happened here in Eastern Kentucky. So that'll be tomorrow night. So catch us then. If you are not subscribed, please take a second and hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. It really helps us out. It helps us grow. It helps us get out to a whole new audience of people. And we are less than 200 away from 10,000. Woohoo! That's pretty amazing for something that was kind of an accidental thing, huh? All right, guys. So tonight, Kentucky Mayor's bombshell backfires. Okay, so if you have been following along with us here, the cases that have been happening here in Kentucky, the London Kentucky Mayor has been in some hot water lately. So let's go look. And if you guys love true crime like I do, there's a little feller named, his stuff is called Crime with Bobby. And he's a pretty cool dude, and he gives out a whole lot of information. So we're going to look at what he shared on Facebook.
They've tried to shut me up for years.
We spoke off the air about how they have tried to shut you up recently. Are you willing to make that a public comment?
Yeah, so we were coming back from church, and we were on 80, and I was with, thankfully, at the time. And during this thing, we wanted to get out and get into some old Pentecostal church for church time. So we both grew up in the Holiness Church. So we went to church that night, and we seen an individual there at that church. And I'm not going to correlate this to them at all because I'm not sure, but that is somewhere close to this group. Upon leaving the church, we got on Hal Rogers Parkway, and as we was traveling down through there, we got into this one spot, noticed a car flashing lights behind us. I then I say, I don't, something may be wrong with the car, or they maybe are just trying to pass us. So he goes to slow down, pulls to the side of the road. I don't remember if he completely come to the stop or not. About that time, that car began to make a U-turn. And then we heard what we thought to be 4 shots ring out and sped off. Wow. So the vehicle wouldn't hit, thankfully. I think it was just when we seen the car making that U-turn on the parkway, something instinctively inside his head said there's something wrong here. They've tried to shut me up.
Uh-oh. Okay. So that was played on Crimecast, which is a podcast. And it has since been deleted, the podcast episode. And the mayor has found himself apparently with 2 lawsuits. One of the lawsuits, let me get back over here to where it tells it. Give me just a second. One of the lawsuits was apparently when the mayor had spoke out against somebody on social media. Let me see. And then the second one, I just got to see it today. And now this is, let me share it. This is another one of Crime with Bobby's posts. And if you see here, it says, and I put all the links to all of these things in the description of the video, so anybody can go read it themselves later if you want to. Okay. It says London mayor sued for defamation by 2 former KSP troopers over social media and podcast statements. London Mayor Randall Weddle is facing a defamation lawsuit filed by 2 former Kentucky State Police troopers, Jimmy and Johnny Phelps, who allege he made false and damaging statements about them on Facebook and in a podcast interview. The lawsuit filed in Laurel County Circuit Court on February 21st, 2025, so this was 3 days ago, claims Weddle falsely accused the brothers of corruption, sexual misconduct, and other crimes. The complaint highlights statements made in a Facebook post where Weddle allegedly wrote, quote, "Like I've always said, keeping Jimmy and Doug Phelps on me might keep them from messing with young girls," end quote. The complaint also points to a February 12th, 2025 interview on the YouTube channel True Crime Cast, in which Weddle allegedly suggested that certain members of the Phelps family had been involved in red rum to silence critics. The plaintiffs argue that these statements are false, defamatory per se, and have caused significant harm to their reputations. The lawsuit also names the City of London as a defendant, asserting that Weddle made these statements in his official capacity as mayor. And he's got a couple photos of the lawsuit here. One of them is James Phelps and John Phelps versus Randall Weddle in his personal and official capacity as mayor of London, Kentucky. And the City of London, Kentucky. Complaint and jury demand. Comes now the plaintiffs James Phelps, hereinafter James, and John Phelps, hereinafter John, collectively referred to as the plaintiffs, by and through counsel, and for his complaint against the defendants, Randall Weddle, in his personal and official capacity as mayor of London, Kentucky, hereinafter defendant Weddle, and the City of London, Kentucky, and hereby states as follows. And then that's all he's got up there. And then here it is. Phelps James et al. Versus Weddle Randall et al. So there is that. And then there was, let's see. Let me stop sharing that. And then, now remember, this is, thank you, everybody. Let me pull those up. Got a new member. And then GG5, thank you, sweetheart, for your super sticker. And Miss Trish Paquette. Elizabeth, love you, girl. Please let everyone know to Google unclaimed property within their state to see if they have any money waiting for them to collect. Well, all right. All my love from Michigan. There you go. So, okay. Back to this. So, Mayor Weddle is the mayor of the town in Kentucky where they went in with a search warrant over a weed eater and a man lost his life because they went into the wrong house. It wasn't even the right house, completely different address. I mean, just unbelievable. So, with that whole situation has kind of been very, very quiet. We haven't really heard a whole lot about that. Now, Doug, sorry, that's the wrong one. Doug Harless was the gentleman who lost his life. And there have been a lot of protests and stuff going on in London. Okay, so let's pull this up here. And this is an article. The daughter of Kentucky man pew-pewed and unalived by police speaks for the first time. Nikki Lawson, the daughter of Doug Harless, shared a statement with WBIR after he was pew-pewed and unalived. The daughter of Kentucky man who was pew-pewed and unalived by London police in his home released a statement to 10 News for the first time since his death. Officers with the London Police Department showed up at 511 Van Zant Road in Lilly, Kentucky on December 23rd. Just down the road is where police were supposed to go, 489 Van Zant Road. Melissa Miller, a neighbor, said she saw the officers while they were at the wrong house. On December 23rd, just before midnight, London police pew-pewed and unalived Doug Harless. Nikki Lawson, the daughter of Harless, shared a statement with WBIR after he was pew-pewed and unalived. The full statement can be read below. This was a completely preventable tragedy and has left my family heartbroken. My dad, Doug, was one of the hardest working people I knew, always putting his family and friends first. He loved watching NASCAR, listening to music, and cracking jokes that made everyone laugh. We miss him every single day. No family should have to endure this kind of loss, and we want to hold the police accountable for their reckless error. As we grieve, we ask for privacy to mourn and remember Doug. Bless him, Jesus. All right. Let's see. I'm going to have to stop sharing that. So that was the article that shared her statement. And what's everybody think about all this? Let's get some of these comments because we got a couple other things to read too. There's a couple other things about going on. You know, corruption is everywhere, and I think we all mostly know it. Was that crime cast from TikTok? It probably is. It's probably the same place, and they've just got the different platforms, you know, like Facebook and TikTok, I'm sure. But that was just what I found on Crime with Bobby's Facebook. And he's always got a whole bunch of good stuff. Another big detail that came from him, by the way, let me pull that up. It was kind of surprising, but I don't know why I'm surprised because I really shouldn't be. This is what happens when the truth starts coming out. Okay, so this was another post that he put up on February 15th. It says, City Councilman calls out LPD's media blacklist. London City Councilman Anthony Ortega isn't holding back on the London Police Department's decision to remove me from their media list. Now, that's talking about Crime with Bobby. If the PD isn't obligated to allow media, then what's the point of having a media distribution list? Sounds like a joke. He's right. Transparency matters. Blocking journalists only raises more questions. Public officials serve the people, not their own narratives. And that was Anthony Ortega. And he's a city councilman at the City of London, Chamber of Commerce, ambassador at London, Laurel County Chamber of Commerce, and Rotary Club member and Rotary International. So that's who Anthony Ortega is. And then this is his, I guess, I don't know, is this an email? I'm not sure. It's something. Mr. Ellison, thank you for forwarding this response to us all. If the PD is under no obligation to add or allow to remain media, then what is the point of having a media distribution list? Sounds like the list is a joke. All this has done is add yet another black eye to our city police when we are already dealing with citizens thinking they are hiding something. If we are not going to allow people/organizations to be added to the list, then why do we have it? Sounds like a waste of city resources. We as public servants need to remember who we are here to serve, and that is the public. Anthony Ortega, City Councilman, City of London, Kentucky. So they've apparently kicked Crime with Bobby off of their media list. Now, the mayor, a couple years ago, he had gotten in some trouble with election finance rules. So he had donated a whole big bunch of money to Andy Beshear, and I don't know who else, but he had donated a whole big bunch of money that he wasn't supposed to be donating. It was way over the limit, the campaign limit. And here's a big picture of him. Now, this article was just written. So this is a whole new article. The last article used this same picture. And we had a show on it where we read it. But this is a whole new article. So let's read it. This was February 21st. So this was 3 days ago too. Questions spur further investigation of London mayor's improper contributions to the Beshear campaign. The board that oversees enforcement of Kentucky's campaign finance laws wants more information in the investigation of whether London Mayor Randall Weddle made illegal contributions to help Democratic Governor Andy Beshear win re-election in 2023. The Kentucky Registry of Election Finance Board on Thursday deferred action on a staff recommendation that would have resolved the matter. Registry board members said they were unsure of many important details of what happened and could not make any findings for now. The registry staff had recommended that the board find that Weddle did indeed violate the law by making numerous contributions in the names of other people to Beshear's 2023 campaign for governor and the Kentucky Democratic Party, but that Weddle did not know his actions violated the law. If he didn't, take a break there, if he didn't know that it was against the law, then why was he putting his contributions in somebody else's name? And it wasn't just one somebody else's name. It seems like it was multiple. It says numerous contributions in the names of other people. I mean, we're not stupid. Under the staff recommendation for an unknowing violation, the matter would be referred to a conciliation process between the registry and Weddle to agree on punishment. Well, how about that? They're going to consult and negotiate Weddle's punishment, is what that sounds like. Normally, a fine of up to $5,000 for each violation. But as a 90-minute discussion of the case drew to a close, board members said they needed much more information about the process that led to Weddle making $202,000 in excess contributions to the subsequent process taken by the campaign and party to refund those contributions to Weddle. It wasn't, if I remember correctly, it wasn't refunded until somebody reached out to Beshear and asked him about it. And then they were like, oh, really? Well, we'll have to check into that. And then they found it and gave it back to him. If that's how I remember it correctly. More information, said board member H. David Wallace. I don't think it's fair to the citizens of the Commonwealth. I don't think it's fair to Mr. Weddle not to find out the exact facts. Other members agreed, and the board voted 6-0 to defer action as the registry staff now resumes its investigation into this high-profile campaign finance controversy that had seemed likely to come to a quiet end. The board's decision leaves open all possible options for future action by the board, including accepting the recommendation passed over on Thursday, or it could find that the violation was a knowing action by Weddle, a more serious finding that would result in referring the matter to the Attorney General for possible criminal prosecution. And some members of the board wanted more information about the actions of the Beshear campaign in the Kentucky Democratic Party. State law limits the amount any person can contribute to a campaign. The limit at the time was $2,000 per election. So he knew better. $2,000 was the limit, and you're sending over $202,000? I mean, come on. State law also limits how much a person can give to a statewide political party to $15,000 per year, $5,000 to a registry regulated account, and $10,000 to a federal account regulated by the FEC. It is illegal to evade campaign finance laws by channeling contributions through so-called straw donors. Weddle lawyer Guthrie True attended the Thursday meeting and answered questions of the board members. Afterwards, he said, obviously, I would have preferred they proceed with the staff recommendation. This was an unknowing situation. I smell something. An unknowing situation. I don't know if that smells like the truth. That was the absolute right recommendation. But I understand the registry's decision, and I understand they're interested in facts that are outside of Mr. Weddle's ability to provide. Sorry, y'all. Oh, we got 10 gifted memberships, y'all. If you get one, then make sure you reach out and tell Miss Allegedly Lisa, thank you. Thank you, sister. God bless you. Okay, let me get back over here. Case rooted in Kentucky Lantern report. The Kentucky Lantern has broke many stories. They are also the ones who, if I remember this correctly too, they're the first ones that brought out the FBI investigation into ARC. I don't know if they're necessarily the first. I thought they were, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think they're the first ones. So they've got some excellent, excellent reporting at the Kentucky Lantern. The investigation stems from reporting in the Kentucky Lantern on April 17th, 2023, that Weddle's family, friends, and employees of a company he co-founded called WB Transport had donated at least $305,500 to Bashir's re-election campaign. Oh, yeah, that's purely coincidental and accidental. And the Kentucky Democratic Party. According to Kentucky Lantern's analysis of contribution reports filed with the registry and the Federal Election Commission, this Weddle WB Transport Group was the largest donor to Bashir's re-election effort. Wow. I wonder how much larger. Well, I bet you ARC knew better and knew to go by the rules. And if, there's always, as we saw with the polygraph in the deposition with Ben Fields, there are loopholes all through the system. And if you don't work in that system and you don't know the processes intimately, then you don't know where those loopholes are. But think about it. Think about every single place you've ever worked. If you worked at a good, successful, profitable company, usually most of the places that I've ever worked, there were some corners being cut somewhere. And the longer that you worked there, the more of that you get to see. And not saying anybody's doing anything criminal, just saying there are loopholes. And the better you are at your expertise, the better you know those loopholes. Or at least that's how it kind of appears to me anyway. Kentucky Lantern reported that huge amount was not the only thing unusual about the contributions. None of the donors listed as giving $2,000 to the Bashir campaign and $15,000 to the Kentucky Democratic Party had ever before made a large political donation. Really? Weddle is a Republican, as are most of the straw donors he used as conduits for the contributions. Weddle himself was not listed as giving any contribution to Bashir. Well, that's just the best way to cover it up. I mean, my goodness, it looks to me like they have a whole blueprint of how he broke the law and got around it. He initially told Kentucky Lantern he had nothing to do with raising the money, although he did say he knew his wife and family were big supporters of Bashir. Bashir and his campaign manager, Eric Hires, declined to be interviewed for that initial Kentucky Lantern report. 3 days after the report, Bashir didn't directly answer questions, but the unusual aspects of the donations. He did say, "We've had support from Democrats and Republicans, thousands and thousands and thousands of people across Kentucky and across the United States. But all of those have been voluntary, and nothing has or ever will be promised for any type of donation. Just a wink, wink, and a shove, shove. I'm just kidding. A spokesperson for Bashir's campaign said at the time that the campaign required its donors to attest that they are contributing their own funds and no one else's. What does so it's basically they're relying on the honor system. Your word doesn't mean the same thing as it used to, you know. All right, let me go back over here and make sure we're still on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just making sure we're still good to go. Woohoo! Weddle also donated over $500,000 to a Democratic PAC that gave him $10,000 to governor's races all over the country around the same time. He knew what he was doing. He lied and said he's a Republican. He's not. That comes from fee. Well, honey, that makes a lot of sense, don't it? It sure does make a lot of sense. All right, let's get back over here to this. Yes, backwoods Georgia girl. Any unchecked power leads to corruption. What is it? What is that one phrase or saying? I'll have to think about it. Excess contributions refunded. But in June of 2023, hires Bashir's campaign manager said that $2,002 or $202,000 in contributions mentioned in the Kentucky Lantern report were excess contributions that had been made on Weddle's credit card. Oh, so he just said he had nothing to do with it. But then they look and $202,000. I mean, I'm even getting confused just saying the amount. All of that had been paid on Weddle's credit card. I mean, my gosh, do they not know that they can look and see where that was paid from? These are the people who are running our towns, people. I mean, if he's that bright, God help us all. Hires said contributions had been refunded. $12,000 by the Bashir campaign and $190,000 by the Democratic Party. And him a Republican. Shame on you, Mayor Weddle. Shame, shame, shame. So they refunded it back to Weddle's credit card. Like it's Walmart or something. My Lord. Attorneys for the Bashir campaign and Democratic Party said in letters to the election registry that Weddle himself had told a member of Bashir's staff of the excess contributions he had made on his credit card in late April. And campaign and party officials took the matter immediately to the registry, which recommended the refunds. At the time, Attorney General Daniel Cameron was running as the Republican nominee for governor against Bashir. As such, his office said he was prevented by state ethics law from launching an investigation into the contributions of his opponent in an active race. His office referred the matter to the FBI. Wow. How many times have we heard that lately? which has declined comment on whether it is looking into the excess contributions. It does not surprise me. I am not impressed with whoever runs the FBI office in this region of Kentucky. Not impressed. Weddle and Beshear clash over what happened. Days after Beshear won re-election over Cameron in November 2023, the registry announced it would investigate the matter. In early 2024, Weddle responded to the registry saying he did not intentionally make any excess contributions. Well, and you have just got such a great track record of telling the truth, Mayor Weddle. Weddle said in his response to the registry that he told Lucas Johnson, a fundraiser for Beshear, that he would have to make some contributions from others on his credit card and that the others would reimburse him later. But instead of being warned that such a move would be illegal, Johnson told Weddle, "Okay, sounds great." That quote from Johnson was documented by a text message that Weddle included in his response. Weddle said he learned from a friend that it was illegal to make contributions in the name of others, even if the others later reimbursed him. And he is serving as the mayor of London, Kentucky. Weddle also submitted other text message exchanges with Johnson to support his statement that he unsuccessfully pressed Johnson for months to fix the situation and refund the illegal excess contributions made on the Weddle credit card. After the Kentucky Lantern story was published, Weddle said he took action to be sure the full story was brought to Beshear's attention. Hires immediately disputed Weddle's account of what happened. Despite any new assertions to the contrary, the campaign and party first learned about the issue in late April 2023 and reached out to KREF, the registry, to self-report the matter the same month, Hires said in a statement. The campaign and party worked closely with KREF to refund the contributions and reflect the refunds on their filings. That reminds me of how ARC supposedly they told the reporters that they also self-reported their overcharging of Medicaid. They told on themselves. Let's go back over here. How is everybody? Just unbelievable, you guys. Like if I had $350,000 to be donating to another party's campaign, I'd like to see how much he donated to the Republicans if he's such a big Republican. Was it as much as what he did to Beshear and the other Democratic runners? I don't know, y'all. It just blows me away. Carol Freer, I hope the credit card company kept all the interest amounts that applied to the charges made. Yeah. Let's see. Vanessa, keep digging. Pretty sure he found another way to redonate after they returned. I bet he did too. He probably just handed them cash. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I hope the credit. Oh, no, that's the same one I just said. Shame X. Wait, would have been worse if he had have kept it. Well, it sounds like they were going to keep it until it came out in a big story. We'd be lucky to get Walmart quality politicians. We have Temu, apparently. That's right. That's right. Yes. Jessica says, see you. That's the truth. Vanessa, Weddle's found a way to fund Bashir even as campaign contributions were returned. London Mayor among Kentuckians giving to Democratic Governors Association. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I told you they find the loopholes one way or the other. The flooding up there that I've seen videos of make me think of when Helene hit here in North Carolina. We live in McDowell County, North Carolina. Bless you, honey. Bless you. Yes, we got hit really bad here too. We're going to do our show tomorrow night on the creeks, dredging the creeks, the flooding, and all the fighting that's going on up here with, you got people that this group over here says do this, and this group over here says, no, you can't do that. So we have to talk about it tomorrow. Ivy Speed, another good and relevant quote that comes to mind. I think the good Lord said this: one evil prevails when the good do nothing. Yep. Evil prevails when the good do nothing. Mama Duck. And Mama Duck is our politics expert. You can only donate in your name, never in someone else's name. And who would ever dream that they could do that? That was what I was getting ready to say a minute ago. If I had $350,000 that I could donate, I think I would make sure that I looked into the laws and the regulations regarding that much money, So he knew exactly, you don't just throw that kind of money away. And if he does have that kind of money to throw away, well, I was getting ready to say, are you single? Just kidding. I got the giggles tonight, y'all. Pretty primitive. Weddle is a rhino. I don't know what that means. Randall Turner, Bashir, us better than a reppy license. I don't know what that means either. Sorry. Frankfurt. As the Kentucky Democratic Party and Governor Andy Bashir's campaign were refunding the excess campaign contributions of London Mayor Randall Weddle last spring, Mayor Weddle and his wife found a different avenue for making additional donations to boost Bashir's re-election chances. Well, that's the second time we've heard that tonight, ain't it? If Weddle is a Republican and Andy is a Democrat, well, that's a red flag there. Oh, you bet. And the rest of the $202,000 was donated to other Democratic campaigns, other people's Democratic campaigns. So they were donating a whole lot of money. Send letters of concerns to Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, the new heads of agency. I'm sure they will like to inquire of the local FBI to see the file. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Somebody actually looked into the agencies overseeing southeastern Kentucky. Well, I'd have to see it to believe it, y'all. Yes, please hit that like button for us, you guys. Let's get us up there tonight. Tammy Connolly, me too. How much money does he give to the Republicans? Shamek says that cross-part contributions happens a lot because they don't like the other fellow, even if it's their own party. This is why they do it, y'all. Because it doesn't matter who is in the seat. It's whoever's in power It doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or a Republican. They go with whoever's in power because that's who is going to be making decisions, affecting them and whatever their aspirations are. Do you think Weddle do you think whenever he became mayor, do you think mayor of London, do you think those were as far as his political aspirations were dreaming in his mind? I know I said that crazy, but I'm sure he thought that he would be able to move. This would be like a stair step. This would be his step into another position. These people are very seldom satisfied, and they profit off of these positions. Look at every single one of the politicians, our elected politicians. They're everyone wealthier than any of us ever thought about being. And I guarantee you, these lifelong politicians, unless they were generational wealth, they weren't nowhere near as wealthy as what they are now when they first started. It's all, in my opinion, it's all about greasing the wheels for you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. That's what I think about it anyway. Board members want more information. And, I didn't used to be that way. I didn't used to be as jaded as what I am now. I used to my eyes were just wide open and I thought we could be anything that we wanted to be. And I thought that if we worked hard and we did the right thing and, we put forth the effort, I believed that dream that we can be whatever we want to be. That's not true. Not that I've experienced anyway. It's not what you know. My old professor told me that. Dr. McDaniel. He was an awesome human being. And he was on just about every board in Eastern Kentucky. But he passed away several years ago. But he told me one time, Elizabeth, don't you get it twisted. It's never going to be what you know around here. He said it's always been and it will always be who you know. And he was right. He was 1,000% right. On Thursday, registry board members raised questions that they say remain unanswered by the investigation. Some said they wanted information from Johnson and others from the Bashir campaign for a detailed response to Weddle's story. Others said that the notes of the registry's investigation include no documentation that any of the more than dozen straw donors eventually paid Weddle back for the contributions he made in their names. Did you hear that? There's no documentation that any of the straw donors paid Weddle back like he said they were supposed to. The reimbursement, nobody ever reimbursed him for that. The staff's report said the registry's investigator had great difficulty getting cooperation from the straw donors. Well, duh. Board member Jessica Burke said the registry's investigative records indicate that the only straw donor the registry investigator was able to interview, I wanted to put the word even in front of it, to interview was Weddle's father-in-law, David Owens, who told the investigator that he did make a contribution, but the money came from Weddle. Even his own father-in-law wouldn't lie for him. My son-in-law did it all, he said. I didn't even have the money, he told the registry investigator, Burke said. That's great, man. That's great. Burke said that this seemed to be far from common legal example of contribution bundling, where one person gathers checks of several donors to deliver to a campaign. Wallace said, I still have a real problem saying that I could walk down the street, call my neighbors and say, hey, you want to give some money to ABC campaign? I'll just put it on my credit card and you all pay me back when you get the chance. Thomas P. O'Brien, chairman of the registry board, said the investigation will continue and be brought back before the board at the appropriate time. Have you ever heard of more of a mess, a hot mess? Tracy, the reason the Republicans supported Andy was because Cameron would be a nightmare. Oh, well. We don't want to get all party politics on here, but this is very interesting. So don't nobody start fighting. If you're playing both sides, it would be hard to lose. That's right. And, they don't care what party they're in. They need certain things from a governor. So whatever they need from the governor, well, they're going to make sure he's their best bud. They're going to make sure that they, get on his good side. Well, how do you get on somebody's good side? Well, in politics. Oh, yeah. And even socially, if you're wealthy, you're just automatically liked. People automatically want to kiss you, honey, and everybody's your friend when you've got money, y'all. You know that. Tori Walker. Hello, everyone. I just now seen my email that someone gifted me a membership. Thank you so, so much. I don't know who gifted it to me, but huge thank you. I've been wanting to join. Well, good. That was Miss Lisa. She bought 10 memberships. So thank you, Lisa. I'm telling you guys, this just blows me away. So, and what do you think about this lawsuit now that Weddle's got himself involved in? There's 2 lawsuits. Is it 2 lawsuits or is it just one? I thought that somebody had filed a lawsuit previously. Or, well, maybe I'm just catching up to it. So I don't know about that. So I better not say that. So do they give all the employees bonuses with instructions to donate? I've heard lots of businesses do that. That's a good point, LS. That's a good point. Because all that money came from his, well, not all of it, but a whole big bunch of it came from his company and the employees that worked for him. I wonder if he, and let me make it a hypothetical. I wonder if someone was to make it an incentive. Like, could they pay their employee $50? Hey, I'll throw an extra 50 on your paycheck if you let me donate this in your name. I mean, or because it doesn't sound to me like these people are very smart when it comes to the technology of today. Like, he didn't never think that they would be able to trace what account all that money came out of. Like, did he not even think of that? And then you got a bunch of geniuses out here that are running around committing red rum and any other kind of crime with their cell phone on them. Or you don't even have to have your cell phone on you. You just let something happen and let them pull your phone records, because they're going to go back however long it takes, and they're going to see where you've talked to somebody at some point in time. You know, they're going to be able to find out. I don't know how or why people even commit crimes anymore, because you can't get away with them. I mean, but if you ain't got nobody looking, and you own the police, and you own every agency around, see, that's what's been going on. You've got so many top dogs around here, not just here, in the surrounding area. You got so many top dogs that were so used to running it however the hell they wanted to run it, because there have been people that have been blowing the whistle for years, but who cared? They didn't care if the whistle got blew. Who was going to come? FBI ain't coming. State police ain't coming. Blows me away. Doug Harless. This case with Doug Harless. Have you all heard anything about any accountability whatsoever on that incident? Because now it seems like it's all kind of, you know, as long as they keep their mouth shut, it's kind of seems to me like the attention is going more towards Mayor Weddle now, who I don't think had anything to do with that Doug Harless incident. That was the judge executive and the police department. And whoever the judge was who gave that search warrant, I don't think we've ever found out that, have we? Fee says several had no clue he did until the Kentucky Lantern published their names. So I think what you're saying is his employees didn't even know that he had donated in their name until the paper published their names. Wow. Unbelievable. Now see, that's entitlement. That's gall. Who has the gall to do something like that? You know what I'm saying? That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Shane Mack says, without unions, you can get fired for little to no reason. It's a protection, but I respect you even if we disagree. That's right. That's right. We can agree to disagree, y'all. We're not always going to agree with everybody. You know, not everybody's going to agree with us. And I'm not always right. I know you. Some people might think they're always right. But we ain't. And sometimes it takes a bigger person to admit when we're wrong. Yeah, I know that whenever I see somebody that can't never admit when they're wrong, it's a really disgusting look. Backwoods, Georgia girl. My parents both worked for the government. I would get in trouble if I took a government pen and used it. My dad would take it away from me and put it back in his briefcase. That's cool. That's cool. Unbelievable. Yes, Tammy says, is this Mayor Weddle a millionaire? Well, I think he is. He must be. Must be nice. Sheesh. What do you need to turn on to check in the gifted membership? I think Mama Duck. I think you just have to go into the settings and make sure that your gifting is turned on. Let's see. Tracy, Elizabeth, you might be thinking about the lawsuit that Mayor Weddle filed. Yes, that's exactly right, Tracy. Thank you. That was what I was thinking about. Filed against the woman for defamation. So it wasn't very long ago that Mayor Weddle filed a civil lawsuit against somebody through social media for defamation. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, y'all. Police will show up if steal a weed eater. That's right. That's right. I think I just got an invitation to go on. Yeah, we're going to go on Vinny, y'all. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. We've been waiting on that. They invited us a long time ago, but they didn't get their stuff. They were expecting some documents or something, or some dash cam, body cam footage. And so they was wanting me to come on for that episode. So they've finally got back a hold of me. They're ready to go. So I'll let y'all know when it is. Whoop, whoop. Lori Dean, is someone saying the wrong address was intentional? Well, I don't know. I don't know. If it was intentional, then that's a whole other can of worms, right? That's a whole nother can of worms that I hadn't really even thought about. I think it was, how can you have 10 members of a city police department and a county sheriff's department? There was like 10 or 12, or maybe it was just 9. I don't know, but it was somewhere in that range. That's how many officers showed up for that so-called search warrant. Have you ever seen that many? What they first were calling it was this rogue task force. They had a task force that was put together previously, and it was members of the London Police Department, City Police, and it was members of the county sheriff's department. But when they had that city council meeting, they tried to say that the task force had been disbanded and that they hadn't used it, and they hadn't used it for a long time, which I don't necessarily believe. Whoop, whoop, look at our fee. God bless you, honey. Westerfield had nothing to do with the warrant. Weddle purposely pushed that narrative. He wants his seat next election. If this man gets elected, I would fall out of my chair. Weddle hired the men on the rogue task force. It's 100% his fault. Thank you, Fee. It's just unbelievable. Same company here has paved all the roads as long as I've been here, 61 years. Well, that's one of the things that we're going to be looking into about here in Letcher County. Who are the companies who keep getting these contracts? The first time it flooded, they hired a company through a contract, and they came in, did some work. I don't know how much work they did, but it sounds to me, the whispers that I'm hearing about it was that nobody could get a hold of whoever it was for months and months and months. And now that this big flood has happened again, now they're all running back to Letcher County to try and grab them contracts again. So, and that is the reason why people give, I mean, not just that, but that's an example of why they give so much money to these campaign, to finance these people's campaigns. Because it's, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Or how many people have like family ties to the court or the fiscal court or whoever is making those decisions on who gets the money, who gets the grant money, who gets the contract money. It's all about money. Follow the money and you'll find the answers every single time. It's greed. It ain't nothing more than greed. Crystal, I'm always right. Or at least that's what I tell my daughter. My mommy's always right. There ain't been a time one that she was wrong. They ain't been a time one that she was wrong. Man, Tammy. Bet City pays his electric bill. Well, you know, there's also been a big old a brouhaha about where he lives. He has a place in town and he's got a place out in the county. And he's been telling everybody he lives at one location. But everybody who lives there says, hell no, he don't. He lives out there at that other one, where he's not supposed to be living, from what I understand. Well, I got a friend who lives very close to the house that he's not supposed to be living at. And they said, I see him every day, coming and going. He said he sure lives there. But I mean, what are you going to do? If they take pictures and video of it, they'd probably get them for harassment or something stupid. And then they'd know who they were and know, you know what I'm saying? So they don't want to out themselves. Ivy Speed, greedy capitalists exhaust me. Me too. Cat ride. Woohoo! How exciting. Lori Dean, yay, that's fantastic. Yep. Vinny is a good looking man. He sure is. I used to think, man, why can't I ever find anybody that's like a lawyer, somebody, a doctor? Lisa Jolly became a YouTube member. Good deal. Dave Clifton. Sounds like a very important weed eater. I mean, after dark warrant on top of all that, wrong house. I'm telling you, we got some Einsteins. Redhead's Roost gifted 5 more Hillbilly Crime memberships, y'all. Thank you, Redhead's Roost. If you guys get a membership, please say thank you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Jessica, how you at work in concrete? Or come up with something we can use to get us some of them dollars they handing out. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm telling you, man, it just absolutely blows me away. Yes. Tammy says they were actually going to arrest him, and if they did it at midnight, he would be jailed for Christmas, etc., because no one is in the office then, so he can't get bail. But who were they going to arrest? They weren't going to arrest Doug Harless. They were at the wrong house. And the guy who stole the weed eater was already in jail. Who was they going to arrest? Unless they were really after Doug Harless and they just put the wrong number on the paper. But that man, the Busby man or whatever his name was, that was in jail, the guy that actually stole the weed eater, he said that he didn't know what the hell they was talking about. He never sent them to that man's house because he had actually been living in the trailer that they had the number for, the different number for, the actual address that they were supposed to be going to. Nobody even lived there. And a member of law enforcement had been out there the previous week. And the landlord of that trailer even said that he told the police when they were there the week before that nobody had lived in that trailer for months. Unless they just thought that the guy that was in jail that stole the weed eater had taken it down there and put it in a vacant trailer that nobody lived at. But that ain't nowhere said. No, that's not said nowhere. Unless that was just some bright theory that they came up with. But how the heck are they going to get a search warrant for something that they don't have any evidence for? They don't have any probable cause to think that it's even in that trailer, you know? Who was the judge who signed the search warrant and what was on the request? Like don't they have to put in a request for a search warrant? And the judge has to like read that stuff? Like you have to swear to what you're putting in it. Same thing with like Ben Fields. He got charged with perjury because he swore out a false escape warrant on Sabrina. That's what his perjury was for. His perjury wasn't for like lying in court or anything like that. It was for swearing out a false warrant. You know, when he went to go get a warrant for escape on her, the judge had to say, you know, or at least they're supposed to, right? Raise your right hand. You swear that you're telling the truth? Yes. And then they give the warrant, I guess. Well, and I'm no lawyer, remember. So it just makes me think they would have to put forth some kind of paperwork with their attestation, right? With them saying what they've heard or what they saw or what the evidence is. I mean, they have to like put that in as a request, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm wrong, y'all tell me. Y'all know something I don't know. And I'm not giving the judge a hard time unless whatever they gave him didn't have anything on it. I've seen it. I've seen it myself. They'll put documents in that are freaking blank. Don't have nothing on it. That's what they did to me. And nobody saw it. Nobody cared. Nobody even looked until we had to get it back for the discovery and the administrative hearing. Then when they pulled all that stuff, they say, well, can't do nothing with that. Wouldn't be the first time we'd see something like that, is it? Pretty primitive. Someone needs to ask him about the illegal immigrants that get contracted to work in the factories down there in London. And see, London is a much more urban area than it is here. London is right on 70, isn't it on 75? It's right on, half of it goes on one side of the highway and the other half is on the other side of the highway. I lived there a long time ago. I lived a little bit everywhere at some point in time. But, they've got factories and they've got stores and they've got really good infrastructure. They are a great location for business, tourism. London is in a fantastic geographical location. So, and there are a lot more funded, I guess is the best word to use, than any place is here in the mountains. Let's see. They were talking that whoever lived there was in on the weed eater theft. Interesting. Well, and now you've got the mayor telling these big whopping tales. I mean, did you all hear? I want to hear it again. Let's listen to this again. So this is the crime cast. I wish we had somebody sent it to me the day that I guess it may be the day that it came out. And I thought I need to go record that. And I didn't. I got distracted and started doing something else and I didn't go record it. And now it's been pulled. It's been deleted. So, now you can't hear the rest of it. And I want to hear the rest of it. Dang it. I'm nosy. I want to hear the rest of it.
They've tried to shut me up for years.
We spoke off the air about how they have tried to shut you up recently. Are you willing to make that a public comment?
Yeah, so we were coming back from church and we were on 80 and I was with, thankfully, at the time. And during this thing, we wanted to get out and get into some old Pentecostal church for church time. So we both grew up in the Holiness Church. So we went to church that night and we seen an individual there at that church. And I'm not going to correlate this to them at all because I'm not sure. But that is somewhere close to this group. Upon leaving the church, we got on Hal Rogers Parkway. I'm sorry. And as we was traveling,
You heard him, Hal. He can't lie, can he? He was all bumfuzzled on that. You could tell he was, well, it appears like he had this story in his head. Here, I gotta go back some.
there's Parkway, I'm sorry. And upon leaving the church, we got on Hal Rogers Parkway, I'm sorry. And as we was traveling down through there, we got into this one spot, noticed a car flashing lights behind us. I then tell, I say, something may be wrong with the car, or they maybe are just trying to pass us. So he goes to slow down, pulls to the side of the road. I don't remember if he completely come to the stop or not. About that time, that car began to make a U-turn. And then we heard what we thought to be 4 shots ring out and sped off. Wow. So the vehicle wasn't hit, thankfully. I think it was just when we seen the car making that U-turn on the parkway, something instinctively inside his head said there's something wrong here. They've tried to shut me up for years.
They tried to shut me up for years, he said. Well, you know what I think? I think that he just wants to be part of the narrative right now. The narrative is corruption because it's everywhere. It's dropping everywhere. And it sounds to me like maybe he just wanted to be in the mix. I don't know. But so Mama Duck said she could pull it if we had the original link, but it's been deleted. That episode has been deleted because of the lawsuit. I guess. I'm assuming it's because of the lawsuit. But, I don't know nothing. I know nothing. I'm a nobody that knows nothing. Cat Ride says, I will not be visiting London. Nope. Oh. Dave says it used to be the Daniel Boone Parkway. Jessica, people been trying to shut me up my whole dang life. Guess who's winning on that? It's me, y'all. Yeah. Me too. This mouth gets me in a lot of trouble, y'all. But I call people on their BS. So many people are so full of Vanessa. They had so many straw donors, it'd make Mama Duck's head spin. You got that right. Be madder than far, would she? LS, I'd probably be too stingy to donate $300,000 to anybody, right? Bugman, they write the loopholes for themselves. Whoever heard of somebody going to the training place, taking a polygraph, admitting to drinking on the job and having smacks with their wife on the job? And from what I've found out, I don't think it was his wife at the time. She was supposedly married to somebody else. And they met while working, allegedly, they met while working at the jail. So I guess that explains when they asked him in those questions if they worked different shifts or if they worked the same shift and if they did it after work. And he was like, no, we worked the same shift. And I kept wondering, why didn't you just wait and go home then? Why did you wait until the shift was over and then hightail it up to the bathroom upstairs? That didn't make any sense to me. Now it does. If she was married to somebody else before, now it does. It makes a whole lot of sense now. I mean, whoever heard of such a thing? That you could go in, admit to this misconduct. Because these are fireable offenses, aren't they? But we have found that there ain't never no firing goes on down there. I don't know one cop that has been fired. I mean, y'all let me know if you all know of any. And I'd like to know why they were fired. Because it doesn't seem like there's any discipline whatsoever. That you can just do whatever you want to down there. And as long as you're friends with them all, nobody says nothing to you. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, all right, back to my original outrage. So they go down there, take this polygraph. Then if I was going to take a polygraph and nobody had told me anything, and I get down there and they start asking me these questions, do you think if it was you, that you would know that it would be okay to confess to this behavior? Or would you try and lie and beat the polygraph like a bunch of other people who try and fail miserably? I mean, somebody, they all know. So everybody knows that you can go down there, confess to your misconducts, and as long as you don't lie, you're suitable for hire. Welcome aboard. Here's your policy manual. Just make sure you familiarize yourself with what's in there and just initial it. Welcome to the force. Here's your badge, here's your pew-pew, and here's your handcuffs. Galls me, y'all. How does people get this gifted membership? Well, YouTube gives them out, Miss Tammy. We don't do it. YouTube does. So just make sure that you've got your gifting turned on in your settings where you are able to receive gifts. And hopefully you'll get one next time, okay? Flossie James. Shortly after this election contribution, Governor Beshear presented Mayor Weddle with a check for $1.4 million to build sidewalks in London. I just don't even know what to say about that. Hi, honey. Welcome to the channel. Hit that like button, y'all. If you haven't already, we sure appreciate it. Miss Tammy says, yes, I am a hillbilly gal, Eastern Kentucky. You fit right in with us. Backwoods Georgia girl. I would not give any politician $3.50. That money probably come from the unchecked money and property the cops are taking from people. Well, I'm not going to say which sheriff or area this supposedly happened in, but someone reached out to me and said that their aunt had been a rug reeler for a very long time. Used to. I don't know about now, but used to, many years ago. And that one of the police officers, a well-known police officer, had went and raided her house and took everything that she had. And said that when she came home, she saw everything was gone, and said that she reached out to this specific sheriff and said, what the hell? Didn't you get my payment this month? And he said, well, yeah, I did. And she said, well, your boy just came and took everything in my house. And said that the sheriff apologized. And that the next thing they knew, that same officer brought all her stuff back, all her rugs back, brought all the money that they had taken back, and even gave her her monthly payment for that month back, and said that they were sorry and that would never happen again. Now, of course, that could happen anywhere and everywhere. I disagree with giving bonuses to government employees. They are on government payroll, not supposed to be a for-profit agency, and they are getting bonuses from taxpayers who don't get bonuses. One law, 214. Thank you. Well, and you know, one thing that we saw not recently, but over the last several years, we've seen how they sell influence. I just never thought about that kind of stuff. But that's exactly what it is. They sell, their family members can sell influence. And some people might not get their own hands dirty. And they go through people who work for them or their family members, especially around here where it's so rural and you have so much nepotism. You know, these offices are stacked with their friends, family, and in-laws everywhere. Tammy says it's crazy that you all still don't have sidewalks. Where'd all that millions of money go that Bashir give him? Those new heads are not qualified to get get to the real nitty gritty. If they do get sidewalks, the company that they hired to do it will be the brother-in-law of someone in government. Ain't that the truth, sister? Redheads Roost. Pay to play. It's called the Uni Party. Mama Duck. Government employees should be paid and given benefits like the private sector. Not more, not less. We need good, honest citizens to work for the government at all levels. But that's the thing. It's not the good, honest citizens who get elected. You get the rich and the names, the generational names that run. You get people in these offices and then they don't want to get out. Our judge executive here in Letcher County, do you think he's going to give up that $100,000 a year paycheck? I'm not sure exactly how much it is. I think the last time I looked at it was several years ago. It was like $90,000 a year. And his trade before he became the judge executive was a heating and air guy. But he was elected as a magistrate several times. So the magistrate gets what, $25,000 a year? We looked it up. So all these magistrates that are in all of these districts, they get a $25,000 a year paycheck. Judge executive makes about $90,000. You think he's going to walk away from that? Hell no, he ain't. That's why I think that's why we saw the judge come back. He was a criminal court judge, had been Supreme Court justice or something, and had been our circuit court judge. He comes back and decides to run for the judge executive, which is a completely different kind of judge. Does completely different thing. Has absolutely nothing to do with the criminal courts, the justice system. Absolutely nothing. It's running the fiscal court and our county's money. But when he came back to run, well, shoot, that would have been a great retirement paycheck. You know, you get you all your money as a retired judge from all those years, and then get $100,000 on top of that. Well, shoot, man, they rolling in the dough. Must be nice. Must be nice. I mean, what do you do with all that money when you live around here? From what I understand, there's a whole big bunch of them got houses in Tennessee on the lake. I want one too. I want me a nice place on the lake. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Lori Dean, my daddy always said, if you're going to be stupid, you got to be tough. Still good advice. Good night, Bugman. Good night. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Well, it's a sight, y'all. I sure ain't never seen such a thing. Several had no clue he did until the Kentucky Lantern published their names. Yeah, I already showed that one. Sorry. Lori Dean says, Vinny's eyes. I'm old, but I recognize. Holy damn. By Blue Shopper. The other CO got his time in front of the judge. Tracy, and don't forget, out of those 10 people that showed up, 6 were no longer allowed to even be serving on the test, forced to even be at the Harless home. I think they're talking about the task force that all those police officers were on. They were not even supposed to be there. And somebody had sent me something and said that one of the police officers, I don't know who it was or which one of them it was, but one of them had put something out on Facebook allegedly that, and whatever it was, they ended up taking it back down because they were caught in a big lie. And so that don't surprise me neither. Laurel County Sheriff's Department did not have any men with this task force. All London City Police. Well, thank you, Flossie James, because that's not what they said at the city council meeting. At the city council meeting, they said they named, I don't think they named them, but they counted them. So, thank you. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. I think that I found it. Going to do it after the stream is done. I'm going to change my name on here to what I have. Okay. All right. Good deal. Bump. I'm registered as a Republican, but seldom vote a straight Republican ticket. Yeah, a lot of people around here don't vote straight. I don't think that's unusual. That said, I didn't donate $202,000 to good old Andy. Yeah. I didn't never vote straight either. I voted for who was the best, who I thought was the best for the job. And a lot of times, what I think about elections is that they're just popularity contests. Whoever can get out the best commercial, whoever can get their name out more, and whoever the in party is, or not so much the party, but whoever the in elected one is, they can then get their buddies to all vote for you. I thought for sure that the old judge was going to win, the judge executive, because all the Democrats in Whitesburg, all the in power people, they're mostly Democrats now that I think of it. But not that there's anything wrong with them or anything. I'm just saying. Mickey was too. But whenever the primary hit, honey, he ran away with it. Like I ran, and there was a couple others that ran in that primary, and every one of us got like 200 or 300. There wasn't any of us got any less or any more. We all kind of got about the same. But then the old judge got like 2,500 votes. So, and it was mostly that Whitesburg district, it was mostly those, I think anyway, it was mostly the people, because he's lived here forever. He's got a really wide network of political buddies. So I was shocked when he went up against this judge executive and lost. The sitting judge executive won again. And a whole lot of people I didn't think were happy with him. But I think it, in my view, and this is just my opinion, but I think it was the lesser of two evils. I think that's what basically the vote ended up coming down to, was the lesser of two evils. But I could be wrong. Redheads roost. I laugh more when reading this chat than I do all day. Good. We're glad you're here. Marnie, we are so glad you are here. Lisa Jolly, welcome to the Hillbilly family. Yes, ma'am. That's right. So we have been watching trials during the week, during the day. We're watching the bedtime red rum trial. A dad pew-pewed two of his kids, son and daughter. The daughter's unalived, but the son lived. It's turned out to be a really good trial. Today was opening statements. So come be with us tomorrow. Jersey Bread says, not necessarily. Look at the Idaho 4. They lied to get all the warrants. Well, how many officers were there? Honey, I think it happens all the time. I think it happens all of the time. The little girl who was unalived by the cops in Lexington, Kentucky, a few years ago, was it Breonna Taylor? Was that her name? Whenever they pulled, after that fiasco happened and they go to pull all that stuff, they saw that there was a lot of lies and false claims and all that stuff too. You know, it's like they all know it and nobody does anything. They go along to get along. And then, you know, and a lot of people don't want change either. The ones that are already accepted and that have worked their tails off and who have done things maybe they're not proud of to get those connections and to get the position that they're in now. Honey, they don't want nothing to change. They didn't work too hard to get where they're at. You know what I'm saying? It's all greed and power. It's a power struggle. There has to be a sworn affidavit. Affidavit must contain directions to the location, items to be taken in the search, information establishing probable cause. In the video from the neighbor's camera looked like about 6 or more. Yes, there was. And I'm still the only one that I know of who has pointed out the officer outside in that video. You hear the pew-pew happen in the house, and you don't see that, according to that video, the neighbor's security cam footage. You don't actually see the pew-pew that happens in the house that unalives Harless. But as soon as that happens, you see a man in the back of the driveway behind the house and off to the side. And you see him backing up when he hears the pew-pew sounds. You see him back up like he's afraid. And when he does, he falls backwards and pew-pew's up in the air. You see the discharge of his pew-pew. And I'm the only one that I know of that has mentioned it, has caught it. I haven't heard anybody else even mention that they saw it. And we can watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it, and you'll see it every time. It's not even something that's hard to miss. And I don't understand why that has not been pointed out by anybody. Also, the judge's garage had been broken into by homeless people. He had problems with that and was trying to get them out. That was the judge executive. But whenever you hear that phone call, though, or you hear him telling that, it sounds like it's something that he has just realized that somebody was staying there or something. I mean, I don't know. I just found that all to be very, very suspicious, and it just sounds off. Bet if my weed eater was stolen in December, I'd be lucky if a constable would come out in December. Listen, anytime we've ever called the police over some stolen property, they say, "Do you got it on video? Do you have a video of them stealing it?" No. Well, ain't nothing we can do. And that's it. Thank you, Tessa. And hey, new here, and hit subscribe. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Welcome to the channel, honey. We have a great time here. Let's see. Jessica, people been trying to shut me up my whole life. Butterfly kisses. Same, Jessica. I don't ever shut up. Why was it so important that Weddle made a point about his church denomination? I caught that too. I think he just wanted to be part of the crowd. We're mostly Pentecostals in this area. Most of us. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. There's a whole lot of Pentecostals in this area. But there's also a whole lot of Church of Christ. There's a whole lot of Baptists. There's a whole lot of Free Will Baptists. There's some Catholics. But there's a whole lot of Pentecostals. And I don't know if he just wanted to, and you can tell he ain't no Pentecostal. Well, I shouldn't say that. Forgive me. But I don't know why he did that. But I recognized it as soon as he said it. I think a lot of things will come to light. It's a shame it took an innocent man losing his life. That's right. You know, there's a man that's no longer here, and there's a family that's mourning, you know, his loss. And there's not been any accountability. None. Glitter. Hey, friends. Hi, sweetheart. Let's see. Tessa. I think several reached out to this channel. I wonder if they have responded to anyone. Who? Might have misunderstood. My email is hillbillycrime@gmail.com. So if anybody ever wants to send me an email, you can. Sometimes I get a day behind on my email, but I'm the only one that ever does it. Nobody else ever sees any of my stuff. So I'm a one-woman show. So sometimes I get a little behind. But I will respond, I promise. Mark Napier from Mayking. He was fired for letting a prisoner escape and steal the jail car. Thanks, Louie. We also had the chief of police in Neon who robbed the bank and was on snow cane, supposedly, allegedly. Nobody ever talks about that anymore. It's like it never even happened. That's the way a lot of things go around here. They just, you know, you can be 70 years old and be one of the classiest and most popular couples in town, in the county, have an affair with your 20-year-old secretary, and then leave your wife. Or you could be one who's really popular and important, and while your wife is on her D-bed, I'm telling you, we got some really sick people in this county, y'all. And not just in this county, it's in the world. It's in the world. It's in the world. It's a lack of morals. It's a lack of decency. It's a lack of, I don't know, like, and then when people do these things that are absolutely shameful, and then it's like the next thing you know, everybody in town's at the new wedding, congratulating the new wife. Are you kidding me? And people just forget. 5 years goes by, run for an election, and they just completely change. None of us are perfect. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've made a ton of stupid decisions. I've done my fair share in life. But my heart was never so devious and dark to where hurting someone else, I couldn't step on somebody else just to get up the ladder, or I couldn't hurt someone, intentionally, knowing I couldn't do that to somebody. I couldn't leave my husband on his D-bed in there with 2 weeks to live and then start sleeping with his best friend while he goes in there and holds his hand. There's certain things that I just don't have inside of me. And I'm not judging nobody else that does, but we are also supposed to know who is around us. Know who is around you. Figure out their character. Figure out what kind of person they are. Because most of us have kids. And influence to our children is the most important thing. Like, as a parent, we're supposed to make sure that that our children have good influences, that our children have good role models. Are those things that are good role models and good influences? Is that the kind of behavior that we want our kids to look up to? Because it isn't me. That ain't what I look up to. I don't look up to them and think, man, I'd like to have their life. Shoot, I'll stay in my little shack. And sleep, lay my head down at night and sleep very well, because I know that even if, this is just my belief, but even if I have rags every day for the rest of my life, if I end up homeless and have absolutely nothing in this life, I know that there's another life coming that ain't going to be like this. My faith is in something stronger and in something bigger. And I'm not going to go steal a Reese cup from that gas station and risk going to hell for it. I know it's not that trivial or whatever, but do y'all know what I'm saying? Now, we're all different. We're all different. And everybody's got their own aspirations. Everybody's got their own dreams. Everybody's got their own goals and, what they want their life to be. Mommy said I posted it on my Facebook, but she said it's all in how much you enjoy life, because life is supposed to be enjoyed. Money can't buy us happiness, but it sure can help. Sure does help. Played house in the jail in the bathroom. Jersey bred, I'd never take a test. I guess we're talking about the polygraph. Pretty primitive. It's some Jerry Springer stuff. it takes more than one person to steal a weed eater. I think she's responding to somebody else. Mickey said that at Ned's office, he just got him this job for being dependable. Well, you know, I don't know. Here's your badge, your pew-pew, your cuffs, your policy manual. Find your new girlfriend in the cells downstairs and be sure to choose wisely. I'm telling you, I don't think there was intent, but definitely negligence. Maybe negligent H. It's definitely negligence. Like, I mean, you would think that's another policy thing. You would think that serving a search warrant somewhere, there would be a checklist that, okay, we've pulled in the driveway. Now, what's the very first thing we do? Find the address and confirm. I mean, does that take a rocket scientist to think to put that in a policy or procedure? You'd think it would be common knowledge, but a lot of people don't have common sense that God gave them. So, Lori, I'm a Texas redneck, but hillbillies are the same thing. That's right. I was born in Texas. So I'm kind of both. Just grew up in Kentucky. Miss Denise, hello. Lisa Jolly, new member. Let's see. I just want to thank you for your show. You are so fun to listen to. Well, thank you for being here. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. She makes two. Honestly, I think you said, I don't know if I'm coming or going. I'm the same way. I don't know if I'm coming or going. You know, it's hard being a one-person show, a one-man show. Pretty primitive. Good old Andy spent $81,000 on an overseas trip us taxpayers paid for. Man, we pay for $400 hammers. You know how much some of these organizations put in for their in-kind donations whenever they have a matching grant? Oh, I learned a whole lot. Top dollar, baby. Top dollar. All the way. Waddles busted. CG. I used to work at Golden Corral as a server. Waddles and 9 of his police buddies would come in to eat, and we would have to accommodate them to be only ones in the small banquet room. Well, I'm sure Letcher County did the same thing at the courthouse down there. They regularly went to their buddy's restaurant and had $9 cheeseburgers. Imagine what those bills were every time they came in as a group. Or every time they went to the big Mexican restaurant as a group. Because it looks like all those pictures that they put on Facebook, it looks like they ate out every day. I mean, who can afford to do that? Oh, well, when it's on the taxpayer dollar, honey, they can do whatever they want. Tammy, I did too. He said Pentecostal more than once, I think. Well, they probably think that makes them sound more churchy. You know, I don't think he was saying it as a dig. I think he was saying it to try and make himself fit in. I think he was trying to make himself sound more churchy, you know, to appeal to the church people more, or to more of the church people. That's my take on it anyway. Shame X, the discharging of his pew-pew should be in the report. I would think even if he didn't pew-pew anyone. Absolutely. Anytime one is discharged on duty, they have to have a report of it. I mean, because they have to account for that one cartridge or whatever. They still have to do that. So you'd think it would be in one of the reports if it's physically able to be seen as plainly as it was. And for the life of me, I just can't figure out why nobody else has even mentioned it. One of the former Neon chief of police's in Neon, Kentucky. Go back through them, Miss Denise. You'll eventually hit the right one. You had a fella rob the bank over here on a bicycle and took off. He would have gotten away with it, but the dummy came back over here from Kentucky and went through a road check and still had the money in the bank bag. Absolutely insane. Well, I had an old romantic relationship guy. he always told the story, so I don't know if it was true or not. But he said that him and his ex-brother-in-law had gotten pulled over in another state, and they had like 6 keys of bad stuff in the car, in the T-tops or something. Somebody had them in the T-tops of the car. And they said they impounded the car. They didn't find it. Whenever they impounded the car, they did not find the stuff. So they went and cut a hole. They said they cut a hole in the fence. It's been years and years and years ago, so it was before cameras. Cut a hole in the fence and went into the police impound yard and got up in those, broke in the car and got all that stuff, cut all that stuff out of the roof of the car and brought it back to Kentucky. I believe it. I do believe it. But I don't know if it was I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I bet a lot of that kind of stuff happened back in the day. Some of the small towns may only have a gas station, no red light, but there will be 10 churches. You got that right. You got that right. Shame X, Church of Christ was when I was a child. I didn't realize until older they didn't allow any musical instruments in the church. Yeah. My friend's Pentecostal church was all about the tambourines. Yeah, I used to play tambourine in church. I loved going to church. That was the best time of my life. Oh, Jessica, I don't like my husband's friends or my husband, so no worries there either. Christy, I'm not sure anything has changed. Look back in history. I think there has always been some people willing to step on others to get ahead. They're called criminals after being caught. Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's getting late. We'll let you all go to bed. I didn't mean to keep y'all up so late tonight. All right, y'all. Well, come be with us in the morning if you can. We're going to pick up that trial in the morning. It's Florida versus Jermaine Bass. And it's really been a pretty interesting trial so far. But all right, guys. Well, you all have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much to everybody. I just want to go through here because tonight was a powerful night, you guys. God bless you. We got Gita, if I say it wrong, I'm so sorry, became a YouTube member. GG5, $10 super sticker. Thank you. Trish Paquette, $20 super chat. Bless you. Allegedly Lisa gifted 10 Hillbilly Crime memberships. Fee, $20 super chat. Pray for London. Mayor Weddle needs removed. Let's see. Where am I at here? Allegedly Lisa, member for 2 months. Yay. Allegedly Lisa gifted 10 more memberships. Girl, bless you. Bless you. Thank you. Fee, another $20 super chat. And Fee, coming again. You were our stream sponsor tonight. Thank you. Another $20 super chat. Lisa Jolly became a member. Redheads Roast gifted 5 more memberships. And Lisa Jolly became a YouTube member. Thank you all. All right. We will see you guys tomorrow. And tomorrow night, we're going to have Mommy and talk about the creeks and the flooding and all of that stuff. So if anybody has any kind of documents or anything that you want me to look at for tomorrow night's show, shoot it to me, okay? All right, y'all. Stay blessed. Stay warm. Peace out, Girl Scout. Bye.